Okay, when you receive an Architect knives, it comes like this. Of course, it has the label here, but I cut that off. But it's an assemble yourself. So let's go ahead and open this sucker up. There we go. I'm going to be doing a lot of this stuff in fast forward. Go ahead and get that out of there. Information. This is the AK 5.5. So I will link his channel below, but I learned of Architect knives from Gideon's Tactical. If you come to my channel, you certainly already know Gideon's Tactical. This is an assemble yourself knife. I customized this 100% in their shop. When MagnaCut versions did come out for the AK 5.5, I went with the red and black G10 carbon fiber Kydex. I guess it's Kydex still. MagnaCut 5.5 inch blade, a leather backing, black, with a fire steel loop, and also I got basically an add-on that will connect to a long add-on that will connect to the outside of my Kydex. So I'm going to go ahead and largely do a lot of this quiet and won't say anything. I'm just going to be putting it together with music, stopping it from time to time and editing it as such. What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to talk about the Architect Knives AK 5.5, designed by Dale and Ethan Stoops. This particular model is manufactured by White River Knives, but the high carbon versions of it are made by Tops. So it's kind of he and his dad designed it. Rest in peace, Dale. And it's kind of a touching story, but read the website. I'll go ahead and link it below for Architect Knives. And this one is it's outsourced, but it's inside the USA. Like I said, the high carbon models are done by Tops, and it seems as though the super steels, this particular one is in Magna Cut, are done by White River Knives. So I'm a huge fan of those in any case. This knife is a 5.5-inch blade of Magna Cut steel, and it's got my card handles on this particular one. I did not buy it with my card handles. Let me go ahead and plop in here one of the comparison knives. This is the AK 6.5. So when I bought the 6.5, which was going to be my comparison knife to the Apocalypse from TRC, I all they had available was black micarta, but I really wanted the red and black G10 on it, and so I got the red and black G10 on this one because it was available. And yes, the 6.5 and 5.5 handle scales are 100% interchangeable, so that's kind of a great thing. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it here. We're just going to get a little bit crazy. You can actually take a look at these. This is the SE6, replaceable scales as well. A little bit different feel, but the holes do line up, and in fact, that is essentially exactly what these handles were built around. Because there's nothing wrong with that by any means. So that is a definite cool thing, is you can kind of rotate between any and all of these that you want. So let's kind of jump into this one. Yeah, I ordered it with the G10, like I said, but I went ahead and swapped these over just because the color scheme of everything matched, with this one being black, and I wanted that one to have the red and black scales in any case. What the hell are you doing, Mitch? Get going on this one. All right, so in any case, this knife weighs, let me go ahead and move the sheath out of the way, because that is one of the super strong points on this knife. This knife weighed 9.3 ounces and 18.1 with the sheath and the extras. The whole set priced at $280 for what you get, the quality, the super steel, the replaceability, the modularity, and in a sense, think of it as like fixed blade, hinder like, you know, capabilities. $280, I think, is a very excellent price from my perspective. Let's jump into some comparisons and alternatives. And like I said, I'm going to go through the sheath. I went ahead and front side montage that, or I should say, if I edit this thing well, to show that it does come unassembled, and you can just basically assemble this. In the end, like I said, I'll show it. It's one of the pros of how I assembled that. So we already talked about this one, the SC6. We'll go ahead and drop that in there. Definitely a possible comparison knife in terms of a comparison alternative. This one is in 1095 steel. By Essie, and it's $160 versus the $280. So that's definitely something that's to be considered. Also, kind of on the budget end, if I can get this out of here. This is the Demco. And Demco knives free rein, a little bit shorter blade, so you kind of notice the little degradation, or not degradation, but a gradation reduction there in the knife length. But that's a 5-inch blade, and that one goes for $200, also in Magna Cut steel, but it has basically a kind of rubber overmold. I will go ahead and link for those that I have reviews for. I'll link those up above in the corner to help you out and kind of find, hey, which ones of these do I want to buy. In terms of the last two, which are really higher end, this is definitely a higher end knife that we're talking about here. The Phobos knives, Tier 1 BC, also in Magna Cut. Yes, I am a Magna slut, I admit it. The Tier 1 BC, that is $365. That actually won my knife of the year in 2024. Excellent knife. And then, of course, how can you not compare it to the AK 6.5? So this is the Architect knife 6.5. You can see, obviously you're losing an inch of blade length there, but all the same lines and really behaviors of it, other than the fact that you have this full choil here on the AK 6.5, definitely do come into play. So those would be kind of your comparisons or alternatives. Don't know that these are going to actually come out again, because this is just a little bit different knife. We'll certainly talk about those by all means. Let's jump into the pros of this knife. This Magna Cut was excellent. I beat the heck out of it. It took one little tiny roll. You can maybe see that right I don't know if you can see that. There's one tiny little roll, but that's really good as knives go. When you beat on them and you're chopping a whole lot, you're gonna run into little bits of rocks and stuff like that in bark of wood and so forth. So definitely the Magna Cut is excellent, stainless, decent edge retention, easy to sharpen, field sharpen. This one has a straight V edge, secondary bevel. The extra 1 inch over a 4.5 inch makes a big difference when you're chopping and splitting wood. I appreciate that. I think I know my absolute one knife to rule them all. It would be a 5 inch blade, maybe not a 5.5. It's going to be in between those bushcraft lengths of 4.5, and maybe just a half an inch shorter than this. It's getting that little extra inch is excellent. The sheath and the sheath options are incredible. You can customize to your heart's content. In fact, let me go ahead and just bring this in right now. So what I chose on this one is I went with the carbon fiber Kydex. So it's basically a carbon fiber overlay on Kydex sheath. Incredible retention, very good. Plus there is a screw hole there that you can move up through time as Kydex repositions itself, if you will. Retention is excellent, not going anywhere, hang it upside down, carry it however you want. Nice molly, or not molly, but these basic grommet mounting points, which are excellent. You can put on molly if you want. This one I went ahead and chose to get a little clip bag on this. Actually, this one comes with an SE little canister, so you can put stuff in there, nice and handy. I'm going to probably put a sharpening stone in there. Yeah, really good. And then I just love the fact that they give you all the right screws and bolts and everything. And then you have this nice little leather attach on. Fully symmetrical. You can just reverse all these. If you want to carry it on your left-hand side, just literally turn every single thing over. Everything is 100% symmetrical on this knife. So super strong. The sheath and all the little bonus add-ons that you get for that. Here it comes. First fantastic. So yeah, you can. It's excellent. So you can also customize almost anything on these knives. Like I was talking about before, is kind of hinderified fixed blade, where you can kind of do tactical Legos, I guess, to quote Nick Shabazz. But if you are a fan of 3V steel, you're a fan of 1095 S35VM. There's price balances between them. There's everything you can do on that. Again, you can customize that. It may not be available at all times, but you can wait and just get on their list, as I did. And I'm a Magna slut, so I wanted this, and perfect, Magna Cut for me. The sheath, same thing on it. Again, you can customize this. You want leather? No problem. You want Kydex? No problem. You want this little loop for the fire steel? No problem. You don't want it? Excellent. It's just excellent. So the customization, I really got to hand it to Ethan. This is exactly what the fixed knife buyer is going to want. All right, jumping into the knife as well. It is extremely well balanced. Even in the chopping process, it was excellent. You kind of have this. I won't even say it's a finger holder, but it just my little pinky finger did fit really nicely down there, so you can kind of go back on the blade and just chop, and it was actually very comfortable. I was like, they're very good. So yeah, it's a really good overall blade and handle shape. The drop point is excellent. It's got a decent swell in here. I wish it maybe a little bit wider, but still really good in the hand. Medium large, hands. Some people call me little Mitch hands. No problem. But yeah, this is a really good knife. It was balanced, nimble in the hand. In between chopping and just regular use too. So a lot of pros going for this knife. It's just it's a great old drop point. Nearly spear point, but not quite. Cons: the flat saber grind, as usual, would be. This is a flat saber grind with a V edge on the edge. I may end up just basically convexing that edge. I'm not sure. I usually want to do some things, but I know it'll take a little bit of time. Probably gonna take me an hour and a half, and I'm probably not gonna spend the time to do it. But I would say that's just not the greatest thing for things like feather sticking and wood processing. V-edge with the saber grind, not the greatest. The spine jimping was a little bit sharp here. I actually did have to literally sand this. And I had talked to Nick Nichols, who's a knife maker out of North Carolina, about some of his jimping on even on his flipper tabs was just a little bit aggressive. And people who grind blades all day long, they literally lose some of the nerve ending control. And so things that are sensitive to little Mitch hands like me are not sensitive to people who are making and manufacturing the knives. So my gut feel is that's what's probably happening is whoever's made this one at White River Knives it was just a little bit sharp on there on the back. So I did have to just literally get out some 220 grit sandpaper, kind of dull that down a little bit, and it's much better. So it was excellent. Or it's excellent now. Just took, I don't know, 5 minutes. And then the last thing is the only place that the spine would actually spark a ferro rod was on where this jimping is. For the most part, everything else is so smooth and basically tumbled. I'm assuming, stonewashed, that there's no sharp edge on there that you can, or I wouldn't say sharp, but there's no 90-degree spine where you could kick off a ferro rod for a striker ferro rod and get a spark out there. But I was able to on these this spine area. So, it's everything is a series of trade-offs. As a general use knife, it was very good. Overall, I would say this is a great camp knife with great customization options, including your handle and all the sheath options. 100%. Top-notch sheath. I absolutely love this one that I got here. This is, for me, was the perfect one for carry. Like I said, I can basically put it upside down, put it on a backpack, and I'll be able to pull it down in that position. So excellent. I think it's very fairly priced. You're getting super steels, you're getting modern materials. G10 if you want, or in this case, this is black micarta. Excellent. And on the whole, I think it's a very fairly priced, excellent USA made production knife. What more to say about it? Definitely go buy one if this is in the price range and in the size range that you want, because it's going to fit everybody's hand. So hope this was interesting. If not useful, I appreciate the like and subscribe. Again, have a great day. Take care.